Shoma, everybody. I think that's the correct way to say it. Hello and welcome. I have another Farsi phrase that I'm going to try at the end. We're going to see how it goes. I'm doing a 021 Kid song today. It's actually 021 Kid, 021G, both of whom I really enjoy. The song is West London. We'll get into it in just a second. I do have my coffee. I may have showed that already, but I don't remember. Which means I'm ready to go. So two things before I get started. One, I'm not a professional. I'm not an expert or vocal coach. And also I don't speak Farsi. So there's going to be stuff that I miss. If there's important stuff lyrically that I don't hear, feel free to put that in the comments. I'm happy to read it. Also because you can explain contextually better than I can, right? So I'm happy to hear that. But just know, I'm not going to be able to probably speak too much to the lyrical content of this one. Part two, please don't be a dick. I try really hard to be respectful and thoughtful when I do these, and I would request that you keep that in mind as you reply. I just want us to all get along, all right? And with that out of the way, let's get right into it. This is West London by 021 Kid and 021G.
Trying to whip that 3.5 for 20.
021 Kid.
Them old days pop so quick now.
021G.
وای تو این بازی سفت پام جاش راشو بلدم نمیخوام ویز بعد بی اومد NW6 بهم گفت for my days
اونا تیمشون پول لدیانه باز نمیگیرم بیشتر پلی
ای بگی نگیم صاحب سبکم این جوجام کپی پیستم
محسن باش بنگر از سر تا پامونو ما که خوردیم پیون با بالا اون ساخارم هیتن
چون دارم بیشتر از سنم و اجرا زنده هم ندارم پلی بک نشست پیشم دافی ریختم را کیمت شد ایسم
ترپر نمه بکسم بارم و بستم کمتر 1 سال
با دیریل فارسی خورده امضام
با 21 چه خبر
امسال رپ فارس من فیکسم بعد خام تیم شم میشینن نیم کت
گوشو راستم مثبت چپ منفی
جفتشو بستم خار فیدبک سیاهم تو تاتنهام بیرم فرو میکنن شیکم با ثواب
دیدم اشتم تهران لانچ
گرفتیم خفت کارو بدون بکاپ داشتم دست کجی باش رفیقش زنگ زد شد رد تماس
در که داری روش کراش
بودی اور سویجم مونده رو تکاش
مد شد سال 20 لین
حالا دیگه یوزرام میشن کاسب واسه من
شما زخورای تازه
مثل 4 سال پیشم این تازه بلبل صدا آواز کنتور نمیندازه خواستی بفرست پستکد
چطور اسم آشغال تو دریل گذاشتی
چاقی لفظتو توف کن یا 021 Kid on a beat make it lit yeah you don't know the team I was out of country, I had 5 kids trying to whip that 3.5 for 20 Them old days pass so quick now From that shit, we've got plenty No clout, my team just make pounds OT, them man on fake G's When my UNs pull up face down Belly on full clip got empty
گنگ 10,000 تا نفتورن جوه جعبه تو شیپی ستا رولکس سر تا سر لندن داریم شعبه ما اصل داستان تو رو خشی پرس شامگاه تو بلاک خودتیم مرد یهو دید منو با کل تیم کرد هنگ
That's my fucking Persian gang
بس لندن پول پاندم من دوتا تو کلش تا بگیره عبرت
Always man tryna say something huh
بابی و چاقیدم گم شد قبلش
قلب لندن نیا لفظم من بچه مندم ببین از دارداگ معمولی زیر چشما کبودی میکنم خاطرات جفری
حق زنجان کله بدخوان خورد ولی مال اونا کلم نه
هرگاهی بگی تهران خوردم ولی هیچی نرفت پروندم
اگه دو داری نیستی بلد چار بکنی شاد بگی جدول زد
از همون اول پرچم سقف بود
اوتونی من قلب لندن
All right. So a couple things. First of all, this is actually a I don't know, semi-serious question. What card game are they playing? Or, I mean, right? Look, I know, American card culture. I know, I don't know okay, I don't know if they're playing, Persian card games that you just play with that deck, or if they're playing like poker or some shit or spades. I don't know if there is like a traditional game. Like gambling's been around for a long time, so it's not like there's not traditional gambling games that get played. I'd be interested to know if they are playing like an actual like classic Iranian gambling game, or if they're playing, you know, more of a something I'd be familiar with. It's not really important, right? But it is interesting to me because cultural differences. And also, I don't know if is gambling an issue in Iran? Is that something that's like frowned upon religiously? I don't know enough. You know, I feel sadly uneducated on these things. I really like the song though. I really want to smoke out 021. Well, the both of them. I think that'd be fun. That'd be a cool experience. I like the socks. You know. This shot, that was hard. Now, obviously, you want to have an actual mask if you're going to be carrying a piece, especially in England where the gun laws are way more strict than they are here. But that's still with the glove. That was a pretty cool shot. You know, I understood a little bit, obviously, when it got into English. It was talking about selling dope. I heard that, you know, chop it up to 3.5. I know what a 3.5 is. That's universal. I really enjoyed this one. Beat's good. I assume they are like meant to be running the streets together, whether they're meant to be romantically affiliated in the video or just sort of financially. I don't know. There wasn't a lot of touching, so it could very well be they were just like, you know, the two of us, yeah, we run these streets sort of business. I will say, you know, we're wrapping up here. I'm closing the video out. Things in Iran are still pretty ugly, and the government is both suppressing the people internally, which I hate to see, and also supporting Russia militarily. Whether or not that's official, it does seem to be that they are providing weapons, and I hate to see that too. I hate to see some of the places my country sends weapons. All right, I want to be clear that I'm not criticizing without understanding. Right? There are some things that I can't understand in terms of international relations because I live here. You know, the worst thing that happened here was 20 years ago. We're not getting bombed frequently. We're not having, you know, our government destabilized, although we kind of are, to be fair. But, you know, we're not getting a lot of outside intervention in the U.S. So there are some things that I am not going to be able to feel the way some people are. So I want to make that clear. I understand that. But we are supporting Saudi Arabia in their war against Libya or Yemen. We're not defending people from the Syrian defense forces. Right, we're letting them kind of run wild. It's really tragic to see. We sell weapons to people who use them because that's what you do with weapons. And people that are getting killed with weapons that have U.S. stamps. And I do not like that. The only time I can say I feel like that's justified is in Ukraine, where the Ukrainians are fighting a war to maintain sovereignty. They were invaded by a larger force from outside. And I support their right to fight for their freedom. I support the right of the people of Iraq and Iran to fight for their freedom from, frankly, us. You know, there's an expression that doesn't always apply. It's not always applicable, but one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter, right? It just depends on what side you're on. And when you take into account the relationship my country has had with much of the Middle East for 50 to 60 years, right? Not just recently, for a long time. You understand why there's resistance, right? Now, I hate to see people die on all sides. I don't think that's a positive thing at all. But I do understand. Whether or not I agree with the decisions made, right? I do understand if Canada was trying to invade our borders and they had a stronger military than we did, we would see acts being taken by people in this country that would be considered terroristic, right? And we would support it because there are people fighting for our country. I just think that's important to keep in mind, like as an American. There's enough for everybody, okay? There's enough money, there's enough oil, there's enough food, there's enough resources for everybody in the world. We do not need to artificially limit access. We do not need to have people dying from famine anymore. We do not have to have people dying from lack of access to medication anymore. We have the ability to solve those problems. We just don't. Anyway, all that to say, the streets right now are hot in Iran, and people keep getting killed. You know, there's no way to suppress it anymore. I've seen too many pictures. I've seen videos, right? I've seen the reporting. The government can try to deny it, but it's happening. It's there, and people are getting killed, protesting for their rights to exist as people. I saw a video recently of three, what we'll call middle school age, 10 to 12, somewhere in there. 12-year-old Iranian girls running to join the protest with no head coverings. And that's both inspiring and really scary because they could be victims too, right? They could. I would like people to be able to grow up in safety. And I know many people have mentioned to me, I know there are other problems in Iran beyond just these protests and the morality laws. I know that there's serious issues with police corruption, which unfortunately seems to be true everywhere, because when you give those motherfuckers power, they will just take it and abuse it. And you know, there are other struggles going on. I don't know what's going to happen in Iran. I hope for the smallest disruption with the most positive change, right? That's what I would like to see. I would like to see society continue to function, right? When you have a revolution or something, there's often some really messy years. And I would hate to see that. I would like to see a resolution to these protests that is in the protesters' favor, and life is able to resume. I just want people to be able to feel safe. That's what I really want. So, wrapping up. Here's my new phrase. We'll see if I say it correctly. Baratun arazuya aramesh daram. What I've been told that means is peace be with you, peace upon you, something to that effect. I hope that was correct. If it is, then I'm glad. If it wasn't, then please let me know and I'll fix it for the next one. Have a good day, everybody. Stay safe out there. Enjoy the music. You know, music is great. Drink lots of water. Get plenty of sleep. And under no circumstances should you talk to the police.